Oh, I should have set this up first. I'm so disappointed. I'm slowly learning. Alright. No, I don't think that's gonna work, is it? No, it's not gonna work. Alright, whatever. So we're gonna turn this around. It's gonna be a little dark. Don't judge me for my couch. Alright, so here we go. One second. Damn it. Alright. Is this good? Don't judge me by my messy couch. I feel like I need to clean my messy couch now. What's going on? Alright, everybody. So we are in all different sections right now. Don't judge me on my couch. None of you. Don't judge me. I feel like I need to go clean my couch now, because people are going to be judging me on my couch. Alright, so I put all my blankets there because it's too warm. So I'm in Arizona, I'm not used to it. So I have like no blankets on the bed, like whatsoever. So all my blankets are right there. And then I'm going to clean my, hold on, I'm upset now. Yo, judging me? I can feel your eyes. I can feel all of your eyes, boo-boos. You're all judging me right now. We're gonna hide the blankets over here. We're gonna put them on the bed, make the bed look messy. Alright, I still got stuff. I ain't got enough time for this. Y'all gotta deal with it. Woo! Lean with it, rock with it. Lean with it, rock with it. Yo, you wanna see my frog twerk? You wanna see my frog? I call it the frog twerk. Y'all wanna see it? We're gonna talk about, alright, y'all ready for this? We're gonna frog twerk. You ready? Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ribbit. Right there. That is the frog twerk. Alright, let's do this. I'm excited. I feel like a nun in a cucumber field. We got some great things going on with Identity 5. I apologize if the mic is a... You want me to flex? I can flex. I'm actually not that big. I weigh like 150 pounds. I'm not that big. Yeah, I'm a little guy. So we got some exciting things. Dan, can you write a note that we need to talk about proper etiquette on live feed, because I'm just doing some stupid stuff right now. It's kind of I'm gonna feel embarrassed about this later. And I already know somebody's gonna take that frog twerk. Someone's gonna take the frog twerk and they're just gonna run with it or hop with it. Get it? Hop? Because the frog. Okay. So how about we hop to the next discussion? Identity 5 is going to be dope coming forward. Now, there's a lot of controversy with some of the updates. We're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk about whether the Priestess nerf is a good thing. And I honestly think that the player base... We're going to talk about Priestess right away. I really think that the player base... Now, mind you guys, I really don't attack too much the player base. I'm more aggressive with the devs. And me and the devs, we have a love-hate relationship, right? I always constantly tell... They want me to be part of the balancing... with the game next month. I'll be on the test server and stuff, and the devs are really cool because, you know, we have like this love-hate relationship, kind of like choke me but don't choke me too hard where I can't breathe, but choke me just enough where it feels good sort of vibe. That was an inappropriate joke. And we go back and forth with, you know, some of our views and stuff, and I'm hard on them, and they appreciate my content and my feedback, and they don't really regulate too much what I do. So we have mutual respect for each other. We kind of choke on each other, and sometimes we spit on each other. You know, we're kind of into that sort of freaky thing. So anyways, with that being said, right, I don't think that they're wrong with the Priestess, all right? A lot of people are, like, freaking out about the Priestess with the nerf. I just don't... We see with the data that in the Call of Abyss tournament, there was... All right, so it takes 8 minutes and 53 seconds, okay? 8 minutes and 53 seconds to use all 10 of your portals, okay? Most matches don't go above that unless you're a photographer. Most matches. Now, I did my data on that. Okay, I came out with my data before the devs did. My data came out way before the devs did. Check the timeline. Persuadable's data came before the devs. My data suggested that Priestess, the nerf, wasn't really going to be that significant. Sure, in some mid-tier matches, if the match goes on and on and on, it could affect it. Okay, it could. We're not. Now, one of the things I disagree with the devs on is they said it's not technically a nerf. No, it's definitely, it's literally technically a nerf. So when the devs said it wasn't technically a nerf, I like cringed a little bit. I'm like, man, y'all need to hire me to do PR for you guys because you're using the wrong words here. It literally is technically a nerf. So don't say it's not technically a nerf because you're gonna piss everybody off, right? So I think the devs did a little mishap with that when they said it wasn't technically a nerf. What they meant to say is that although it is a nerf, the chances of you actually seeing that in top competitive play or whatever is very slim. Okay, can it happen? Sure. And my premise is that I think the player base has a certain point because the Priestess does have a ridiculous nerf to her decoding speed, a nerf to her bolting speed. So in my mind, I was like, well, if the number is that insignificant, and what I mean by that number objectively is the number in terms of how often we're going to see this nerf affect Priestess's ability. If you genuinely believe that it's not going to affect it, then it is a slight nerf, which means that you can equally balance that with a slight buff that is so insignificant it will just make us all shut up and everybody will be happy. Then we can choke and spit on each other equally. And just as erotically, right? So maybe decrease the decode and debuff by like 2%. Not a huge one, not a huge number, but at least it's something, right? Because this is what we saw with Mechanic. Mechanic, when she was nerfed, we saw a buff to the puppet's decoding speed to 125%. And then, of course, we saw Mechanic nerfed again, which her normal decoding speed went from 130 to 125. For those who don't know, before that, Mechanic had an 8% global buff to everybody that got nerfed down to 3%. Now, the other thing is that Priestess within duo modes is going to be up to like 20 portals. 20 portals. 20 portals! Why do you need 20 portals? That is a lot of portals. I was playing Hunter last night, right? I was playing Hunter last night, and I'm not gonna lie, that just scared the hell out of me. Thank you very much, who just followed. Who was that? I'm gonna call him out right now. Who is that? Where are you? Cool chick, Tyra. Thank you. What's going on, Fanfic Dragon? Happy birthday. I think you said it was a happy birthday. So anyway, so I don't think it's that significant. Okay, I just don't see it that significant. We see. Let me pull up the data right here. Give me a second. This data is complimentary to Comrade Dan. Dan did all of the data on this. I did absolutely nothing. I told Dan that we were going to work on this together, and I totally just ditched him and made him do everything. I didn't make him do anything. Dan is his own individual. He's just got a big heart, and yeah, he did it all for me. So we have data on... Hold on, let me see this. Again, this is all because of Dan. This is not because of Persuadable. We're going to say this one more time. This is because of Comrade Dan. This is not because of Persuadable. So we ran the data. We got the data on all of the Call of Abyss selection rate and the win rate. We're going to go over it right now. We talked about this before the other night. I really do need to come out with a YouTube video on this. All right. So out of 104 matches on all servers, Priestess was selected 21% of the time, roughly. 21% pick rate out of all 104 matches, all right, with a 5.77% win rate. That's not that bad of a win rate when you take into account that this does not include ties. The number one hunter was Soul Weaver with only a 16% win rate. The number one survivor was Perfumer with a 25% win rate. So when we talk about win rate, we are not talking about ties, right? So you guys are used to percentages that involve ties. We are not talking about ties, okay? There are no ties involved in any of this. That's better. I like that light, okay? I don't think that we're going to see a decrease, but actually, to be honest with you, Priestess was down there as one of the worst win rates. Not going to lie. Priestess actually had a 10.58% ban rate as well. But she wasn't, I mean, really, a lot of the survivors hovered between 5.77 and about 8.65, and then the top four was Perfumer, Coordinator, Seer, Mechanic. The stats show that coordinator teams are definitely working better than mercenary teams. I understand that there's a reason to have mercenary. However, we do know that coordinator is still doing better than mercenary. So, do I think that we're going to see a drop in Priestess? No, I don't think that we're going to see a drop in Priestess. And I think a lot of people are starting to learn how to really use Priestess in rank mode. We did a video on this as well. Alright? So, yeah. I just don't think it's... Now, I want to talk to... Now, here's the thing. Give me a second. I'm going to load this up on my computer. I'm going to close that out. We're going to get this, because I actually want the Identity 5 client up, because I want to go through everything, okay? And just to let you know, again, I will be going permanently to Twitch for my live feeds, doing a slow transition as of now. And we're going to slowly transition fully over to Twitch for the live feeds and only the live feeds. And then my regular... Actually, I just got done making a video. I'm trying to learn how to do these highlights. I am looking for a video editor. And yeah, so that should be fun as well. Just give me a second as I upload this. So, are there... Do you guys have any problems, concerns, complaints, questions for Persuadable regarding... I just referred to myself in the third person. I don't know what that means. I would like to know if anybody has any problems with my analysis regarding Priestess. Are you that upset? Do you really think that she doesn't deserve a nerf? Do you think she deserves a slight buff? What do you guys think? What would make you happy? We do know, objectively speaking, this isn't really going to be that big of a nerf. However, the devs were technically wrong when they used the word technically and said it wasn't technically a nerf. It definitely is technically a nerf. So, what is that? Why does Priestess look a salad in her A-tier skin perspective? I don't know, actually. I posted my idea for a slight better adjustment for Priestess in Identity 5 Discord. If you see it, let me know what you think about it. Hey, I would post it here. I don't really see the official Identity 5 Discord. We have over almost 3,000 members on Discord, 2,000 followers on Twitch. We got 15,000 subs on YouTube. I don't got time to be looking at their Discord. Some of their moderators, though, are also my moderators, so. What is that? I don't know what that is. Is it raining? No, it's not raining. I made a Twitch account just to watch. Oh, thank you for watching, yo. That's dope. Yeah. We're going to be having... I play 2 versus 8 customs on Twitch. We played last night. I got some of the footage coming out tomorrow. With the... Prospector, yes. I'll get into the Prospector maybe a little bit later. I don't have enough information on him right now. Can you like your Twitch live feed? Can I like it? I don't know. She needs to be left alone. Well, what's going on, Meme Senpai? I see your message right here. Let me see. Oh, I got you. Okay, I was just making sure, Meme. I wasn't on Twitch. When you told me that you lost your account, I was like, I can contact the devs to see if I could do something for you with that. Just because, you know, yeah. Alright, well, I'll talk to you privately about that. Anyways, let me get this Identity 5. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about some other things real quick, alright? I know I got a lot of people here, a lot of people there. We're all over the place a little bit. We're going to talk about Hell Ember. Now, Call Me Duty is totally going to get a massive erection reading this announcement. Now, if anyone doesn't know, Call Me Duty is a top player. He's somebody that if I had a clan, he'd be in my clan. He's a great guy, a great individual to speak to, and he's got a massive boner for Hell Ember. He's one of the best Hell Embers on the server. And the Hell Ember just got a massive buff. So we know that the duration of the Phantoms are going to be longer. Alright, so we're going to have the duration of the Phantoms going to be longer. That's a good thing for Hell Ember, okay? We also know that he can recall the Phantoms. Look at that. I mentioned boners and people sub to me. Is that all I have to do? Is that all I have to do? Is that what we do on YouTube? I don't know. I'm still learning this thing. I'll totally do that. Alright? Just kidding. Alright. We also know that he can bring the Phantoms back now, right? And he loses a little bit of rage doing so, all right? Not the worst thing in the world, because that means that bringing it back, you can re-put it out when you want to defend a chair or whatever the case is. We also know that there's a Hell Ember buff to the vaulting speed, all right? So now Hell Ember is going to vault even faster. And we also know that when the Phantoms hit people, it's going to increase the Hell Ember's presence. Alright, so we're talking about like 4 different, we're not done yet. We also got the Phantom AI. The Phantom AI, the devs have been working on this for a while. They're making the AI a lot better, a lot harder to actually kite, which means that the puppets are going to be even stronger now, okay? And we also know that, and I'm going to read this quote for quote. You guys ready for this? Optimize Hell Ember's noble attack logic with reduced attack recovery probability when elements are struck and improved hit range. So the hit range is going to be better for him, and there's going to be an increase in attack recovery probability when elements are struck, when he hits an environment. This dude is getting buffed in every single way possible. Every single way. Think of a porno with like 12 people in it in one person. That is Hell Ember right now, and every single part of this person is just filled with buffs. That's such a bad analogy. What the heck? Comrade! I need comrade. I need somebody to be like persuadable. It was a funny analogy. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not taking it back. We also know that the puppet rage is the mechanism are going to be adjusted. We know that the puppet's rage they're now going to dissipate when hit. Okay. Very interesting, because at the end of the day, it's still gonna be the same premise with Hell Ember. Hell Ember is still going to suck early game. That's not as true. So Hell Ember is going to be a little bit dangerous because the attack range should be increasing a little bit. And we also know that the Hell Ember is going to vault a little bit faster. So if anything, his early game is getting better. And once he actually levels up, he's going to be a monster. This may actually change Hell Ember's overall ranking. These are a lot of buffs. Everything has been significantly buffed. Everything. His hit range, his volt speed, his puppets. I mean, his presence is now going to be gained with the puppets. Smarter AI, the ability to take the Phantom back. I mean, this is amazing. And it's going to make him very scary. Now, is he going to replace some of the other hunters? I'm not going to speculate. I almost said skeptical. I'm not going to speculate that as of now. There's still a lot of good hunters like the Clown, who's ridiculously powered when using a computer. You still have hunters like Spider Queen and Ripper, who are just completely ridiculous. I mean, we know that looking at the stats. We'll go back to the stats here with, again, top play. Soul Weaver has the best win rate. Then it's Ripper. Then it's Clown. I know Wu Chang is kind of increasing in pick rate, but his win rate was the second lowest of all selected hunters in Call of Abyss. The only hunter that was worse than him. Actually, I take that back. Wu Chang had the least win rate out of all selected hunters. Photographer had a better win rate than Wu Chang in top tournament gameplay. And that doesn't include Mad Eye's Dream Witch, Gamekeeper, or Hell Ember, because Hell Ember wasn't used at all. So we saw Feaster use. Oh, wait, no, I'm getting these numbers wrong. Feaster didn't win. Geisha didn't win. Mad Eyes didn't win. Those three were used at less than 1% probability, so I take that back. I'm reading the stats wrong, okay? But Hell Ember and Gamekeeper were the only two hunters that weren't used. And I still don't know when this Gamekeeper buff is going to happen, because this has been the same since Season 1. He's awful. Alright? We're going to talk about Explorer next. But I'm really excited about this Hell Ember. Again, I'm not saying he's going to replace anybody. I'm not saying anything like that, because early game Hell Ember is still relatively easy to kite. But we don't know if it's going to be on the same threshold, because that vaulting speed may change things depending on how fast that vaulting speed is. Same with the attack recovery. Alright, let's talk about Explorer now. Okay. These are nice. I got this like V8 thing. It's energy from green tea. Tastes pretty good. Okay. Anyways, so we're going to read Explorer skill adjustments, and we're going to talk about this because your boy Explorer just got a massive buff, and I think people are going to undervalue it. Okay? So hear me out on this, alright? Fantasy. Carries around the novel Gulliver's, I don't know how to say it, Traveled. I can say Amygdala, I can't say Gulliver. I think it's Gulliver's Travels. And can turn into a, I don't know that word either, after reading it. This also activates Treasure Hunt at the same time. He is undetectable by the hunter's radar after shrinking, but cannot perform most actions. The locations of the treasure is recorded, it should be all recorded, in the book. And the page with the password can be found when you unearth it at those locations. Unearthing the password page will alert the hunter. The password can be used to quickly decode half of the cipher machine. The Explorer is allowed to carry a maximum of 2 passwords, and leaving the manor will cause players to drop them on the ground. Other survivors are able to pick up and use them. Map generates up to 3 locations with hidden treasure. Due to his love for books, the skill is not depleted when used. We're going to go through all of his buffs and we're going to go back through each one. Explorer. Possesses superior survival skills and knows how to hide trails. Trail duration is decreased by 1 second. Vaulted obstacles will not alert the hunter. This has been unchanged. Curiosity. Extremely curious and often acts on a whim when decoding. The chances of triggering a calibration is increased by 30% and the scope of success is decreased by 30%. That's unchanged. By the way, when you have increased calibrations, you can on average decode a machine entirely about 1 or 2 seconds faster. We did the stats on Thief, who has increased calibrations, versus players like Seer. He did it in about 72 seconds in the beginning of the game, whereas Seer then took about 74 and a half, give or take. Energy reserves. So here's interesting, okay? Energy reserves is an explorer buff. Stop moving for 10 seconds to increase your movement speed by 40% for 1 second. This effect can only be triggered once every 80 seconds. That is unbelievably fucking huge. That right there is going to be the biggest thing that people miss. They're going to mess it up. They're going to miss it. They're going to just completely ignore it, and you should not be ignoring that. That is super monumental, and we're going to talk about it. Let's move up first, all right? So let's first talk about his password thing, right? So essentially what this is saying is that the dude got a whole bunch of, he's got kind of like a map in his book. It's a location of treasures. He has to go, he has to unearth the treasure, and if he gets the treasure, well, when he unearths the treasure, it's going to ping the hunter, right? It's going to say, okay, this dude just unearthed treasure. You take it, and now you can apply it to a cipher machine, and you can reduce it by half. Now, most likely, the Explorer, I'm hypothesizing, I'm going to presume that you're really only going to try to capitalize this in the beginning of the game when you don't have increased decoding speed. Because when you have increased decoding speed, you can just kind of do your thing. The other thing is that if you have it unearthed and you die, then you can let other people know where you died. If you're in voice chat, they can pick up your treasure if you picked it up, right? The passwords or whatever it is, and they can apply those, all right? That says it right here. Other survivors are able to pick up and use them. So the Explorer is allowed to carry a maximum of 2 passwords, and leaving the manor will cause players to drop them on the ground. So if you leave, right, you drop the passwords, other people can pick them up. So, and the password reduces the cipher by 50%. Really what the question is how long does it take you to unearth treasure? It doesn't tell me in this. I heard that it can take about 25 seconds. I'm not sure if that's true. I've been really busy, and me and the devs, we finally have the open line to communicate. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to message them right now. I'm going to message the devs, and we're going to see if I can get a response. Give me a second. Because I should have asked. I mean, we're going to find out anyways. I can find out myself tonight. Where are you, devs? I don't know the exact time frame because it's not telling me. You know what? I'm not going to bother them right now. They're busy. What we have is, now, here's what's interesting, right? So the real question is, how long does it take to unearth this? Is it like a 25-second process? Because then we got to do the math. On average, how long does it take you to find it? How long does it take you to unearth it? And how long does it take you to bring it back to the cipher machines? Now, it seems like it doesn't matter if it's early game or late game because the 50% is going to be the 50% regardless, right? So it seems like the best time to use this will be early game. Now, here's what's really interesting. If anyone knows it, somebody tag me on Twitch if you know the answer to that number. Does anybody know the answer to that number as to how long it takes to unearth? Does anyone know? So now, what we're going to get, my bad. I have to turn max volume to hear you. Oh, sorry. I'm kind of far from the phone. So somebody is trying to tell me it takes about 21 seconds. Are you sure it's 21 seconds? I don't know about that. All right. Give me a second. I'm not gonna, she's offline. Okay, so we'll go with that for now. 24 seconds. People are saying 21 to 24 seconds. I messaged the devs. I don't care. All right, so 21 to 24 seconds is going to take you. We know that it takes about, so if we take a normal, we'll use the number 72 seconds. All right, now that's how fast it takes to fully decode a machine with Thief with perfect calibration. So it takes about 72. I think it takes 72 point. If you guys go back on YouTube, if you go back on YouTube and you go to my my perfumer video, no, damn it, my dancer video. If we go back to my dancer video, I'm gonna try to pull this up right now. If we go back to my dancer video, how long it takes to decode, right? I did stats, yeah. It's Identity 5, how fast dancer really decodes. Okay, I'm looking it up on my YouTube right now. And what you can do is you can check the video out and you can see how long it takes different characters to decode. Like Mind's Eye takes, I think, 63 seconds. Thief takes around 72 seconds. Seer takes around 74 seconds. And everybody else will be around. Yeah, so actually, Mind's Eye is 62.3 seconds. Seer is 74.5 seconds. And Thief is going to be around 73.5. So you save on average about an extra second with Thief. So Explorer is going to be decoding faster than Perfumer and going to be decoding faster than Seer on just a regular level. Now, when we take into consideration that it takes approximately 21 to 24 seconds to unearth an object, we're going to presume that it takes an extra 15 to 20 seconds to find it and then 20 seconds to get to a cipher machine. So on average, we're talking still, what do we say, 24 seconds to unearth it. We'll say it takes about 30 seconds to get there and get back to the cipher. So in essence, even if we go more, say if we say it takes about 40 seconds, so say if it takes 20 seconds to get there, 24 seconds to unearth it, that's 44, and then 20 seconds to find a cipher machine, that's not going to take that long to find a cipher machine. That's 64 seconds. By that time, you probably could have decoded an entire machine, and instead you're only decoding half of the machine. So it's going to be interesting to see how these passcodes work out. That's a very one-dimensional sort of formula that I just utilized, and it's all theoretical. It doesn't mean that it's pragmatic. So what's interesting about the Explorer, though, and I'm going to get to this point right now. So I'm not really sure if this buff is actually going to be worth it. It may still be easier to start decoding right away. We're going to have to run the logistics and the numbers on that. But this is my favorite buff of his as of now. Energy reserves. If you stop moving for 10 seconds, you increase your movement speed by 40% for 1 second. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. Because if you're decoding and you're not moving, when somebody comes to the machine, you get an instant boost. That is ridiculous. That's crazy, man. That's a 40%, even though it's 1 second, that's a significant boost. That's your ability to go around the corner. That's your ability to really do something that, oh wow, I'm really excited for Explorer. I think I want to try him out. Do I think he's going to really change anything? Probably not. I don't think Explorer is really going to change that much. I mean, really the meta is, he's not going to help us saving. And right now, when you have characters like the Spider and you have characters like the Ripper, you need versatile characters. I really don't think that he's going to actually, I mean, looking at the data, think about it, right? If we're talking about hardcore numbers, if it takes you 74 seconds to finish an entire cipher, there really is no point. You know what? Here's my hypothesis. I really think that the way to play Explorer in the beginning is that you decode a machine right away. I'm pretty sure it's going to be try to decode a machine as fast as possible right away, and then maybe try to find a treasure that's closest to you. Because then you're not wasting as much time. Remember the 40 seconds? Now you're not going out of your way away from cipher machines. So I honestly think that the way to play Explorer is going to be to decode immediately. After you finish that first machine, that's when you go and you hopefully you can have a treasure mark near you where it only takes, like, let's say 15 seconds to get it. But then we still have to see what the numbers are. Because technically, if we're talking about 73 seconds, we'll say 72, right? That means that you need to be able to get that password within 42 seconds. You need to be able to get to the treasure, unearth it, get to a cipher machine within 42 seconds. Because if you can do it within 42 seconds, right? I'm sorry, not 42 seconds. What is that? It's even worse than that. It's 36 seconds, right? You have to be able to do that within 36 seconds. Because that's half of a cipher machine. It makes no sense to go and to bury this, to unearth it, to get this thing, if it takes you longer than 36 seconds, because by then, right, you could have just easily have done a half of a cipher machine within that time without you wasting your time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the strategy is with Explorer. But this energy reserves is going to make him very deadly, because when he vaults over things, he doesn't ping. So it's going to be very interesting to see that 1 second boost. If you start decoding right away, it usually takes at least 10 seconds for a hunter to find you. So if you're decoding and you're sitting there, bop, 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 and 10 seconds comes and you hear a heartbeat, when you immediately leave that cipher machine, that's a big speed boost. That's a big difference, especially against characters like the spider, who's rapidly putting her webs down, especially in tight corners. Think of Sacred Hospital and the ruins. So, you guys, so somebody just said Perfumer is overrated. That's false. Perfumer had the highest win rate in all of the tournament in Call of Abyss, with a pick rate of 86.54%. Perfumer that's the problem when we talk about Explorer. Who is he going to replace? Here is the top 4 players. Perfumer, in terms of win rate, okay? Perfumer, Coordinator, Seer, and Mechanic. Mechanic is still doing her job well. You take Mechanic out of the equation, the next one in line is Magician. Okay? The thing is that Explorer doesn't replace any of them. So, I mean, you could say possibly Mechanic, but at least the Mechanic's doll could be used in some ways, but not really. Mechanic is still being used. Her pick rate's 50% and her bane rate's 25%. So I think this energy reserve is going to be monumental. I don't think that the passwords are going to be that big of a deal. Again, when the devs allowed me to go on the test server, the devs wanted me on the test server 2 months ago. Alright, but you guys knew my situation moving from Rhode Island to Arizona, and I was living in my car, and wah, right? We talked enough about that in life. But, wait, the devs just responded to me. Okay, alright, I'm not gonna read what the devs just wrote to me. Alright. We have such a funny relationship. Oh god. Something along the lines of, if I was on a test server, I'd know the damn number. They didn't say that word for word. Oh man. They didn't say that word for word. That's not a direct quote. Alright, let's get the Priestess. I'm having too much fun here. Let me read some of the comments. What are some of the comments that we have? Let me check you guys out on Twitch over here. What's going on? Let's see. Baby Sway. Baby Sway do 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 do. Baby Sway do 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 do. Baby Sway do 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 do. Baby Sway. Man, I got the song stuck in my head. That's what sucks about working with kids. You guys, you need to knock it off. Now that's stuck in hundreds of people's. But no one wanted to hear that. There is not a single viewer who wanted to hear that. I gotta turn the volume down over on this. It's too loud. Yeah, there's not a single viewer that wanted to hear that. That is awful. I thought you guys were supportive. All right, let's get into the Priestess. All right, so Priestess skill adjustments. The Priestess will now leave a residual image. I almost said a residual income. The Priestess will now leave a residual image when passing through passages created by other priestesses. I actually approve of this. I think priestesses should have this nerf. I think that if you go through somebody else's portal, regardless of your character type, there should be an image that is left behind. This is so if you have multiple priestesses who are on the same team, there's a consequence. there's a consequence to it, and I agree with that nerf. The number of passages the Priestess can restore in a single game is limited. Normal mode is 10 times. Dual Hunter's mode is 20 times. Once the number of restored passages is reached, passages can no longer be restored. So here's my technical question. It says that the number of passages the Priestess can restore. Restore. It's not how many they can get, it's how many they restore. So does that mean that they only have 10 portals, including the first one that they get in the match? Or does it mean that the first one that they get is free and they can only restore 10 times after, which makes the quantity 11? That's important. When I did my data, I did 10 portals, including the first one. So not 10 restored, but 10 in total. And it took me 8 minutes and 53 seconds. So by normal mode 10 times restored, does that mean 11? Or is it just me being technical with the words? What's going on, Poseidon God? It's good to see you. And then Duo Hunter's mode is 20 times. That's ridiculous. That's so many times. That is so many times. To be honest, we are all crying because the 10 portal nerf, but we... So, yeah, everyone's crying about the 10 portal nerfs, and the chances are you're not using 10 portals in a match. It's the reality of it, right? Like, there are things to be mad about with skill adjustments and whatnot. This just isn't one of them. Guys, pick your battles. Pick your battles with the devs. If all we do is complain about every single little readjustment, then when something really happens that we're against, it's just going to go on deaf ears because all we do is complain sometimes. This is not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. In my opinion. That doesn't... Remember, you're allowed to disagree with me. That's okay, right? I don't speak for the entire community. I am just one individual. So you're allowed to disagree with me. That's okay. We can still be friends. Right? If we all agreed on everything, then it would be a really boring friendship. You know how many half of you yell at me when I come out with analysis on your favorite characters, which you know is like pretty true, pretty accurate, pisses you off, and you guys still come to my channel and you're still friends with me? That's all that I care about. You can disagree with me, but let's be cool about it. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. She was used in the tournament. She has a 21% selection rate. I really don't think that this is going to change much. We are going to see when Call of Abyss comes out. When the last tournament comes out is Shanghai. 20 portals in 2 versus 8. That's a ridiculous amount of portals. That's a ridiculous amount of portals. She does. The thing is, guys, is that portal ability. Have you all ever played against Meme Senpai as a priestess? He's such a pain in the ass. Sprinter, what if the boost is given 10 seconds after not moving? That's how it works, Sprinter, with Explorer. You have to stop moving for 10 seconds. You have to stop moving for 10 seconds. So, if you go to a decoded machine or a cipher, and you stand there for 10 seconds, then when you get off of that to run because the hunter's coming by, that's when you get a 40% boost. Alright, I want you guys to do me all a favor right now. I'm serious. I'm going to dichotomize it to make it easy. Okay, so dichotomize means black or white. This is not fair for metrics, but we're going to make it. Do you think the Priestess nerf is unfair? Yes or no? Just write one word. I don't want a paragraph, nothing. Just, is the Priestess nerf unfair? Yes or no? I want to see your response. I'm serious. I don't ever feed for comments or anything. I haven't seen a single yes yet. Okay, I saw a single yes. I got one yes. Out of hundreds of players, I got one yes so far. Actually, it was a question mark after yes. That doesn't count. I don't see... Alright, there we go. We got one yes. There's always one rambunctious one. I got respect for that. Alright, we got 2 or 3. Okay, here comes all the yeses. Most of them are no's. It's 10 per priestess, not 10 total. Now ask about... Okay. We'll wait for all the yeses and no's. Alright. Streaming Grizzly. Oh boy, sound quality on Twitch is 10 times better than on YouTube. Hey, what's going on, Grizzly? Oh, Grizzly, I miss you, bud. Where the hell have you been? I know where you've been. You need a man. I miss you. Yeah. So the sound quality is much better on Twitch because I have a Yeti mic. So you are absolutely correct, and that's why I only stream on Twitch for the most part because the YouTube quality is bad. I don't know why. I cannot stream on YouTube. The YouTube quality is always bad. Way worse than Twitch. I promise you. I stream on Twitch with no issues. Alright, I got another question for you all. We're going to do another question, okay? Priestess nerf is fair. Look at that, Grizzly. Me and you are on the same side. Look at that. See, that's why I love you. Alright. Oh, wow, that's a lot of answers. I think there's a delay on my Twitch one here. I think there is a delay on Twitch right now. Okay. Let's talk about some of the points. Perfumer persistent bonus points, forgotten pain. The conditions to obtain the bonus are if attacked by the hunter while Euphoria is active and recalling after, the perfumer will be awarded. I don't even want to go into all of the bonus points. Hey, thank you very much for whoever just subbed. Something just happened. What was that? I gotta get better at this stuff. We're getting there though. We're getting there. Hold on, let's see what it is. I actually don't know where it is. Let me see, what was that? Oh, hey, what's going on, Captain? Yes, thank you very much. And thanks for the follow, low grap. My eyesight's going. Same with you. Hi, I'm Kate. It's a pretty cool name. I'm not going to go over all of the score adjustments because as of now, tournaments are not based on... Actually, funny story. All right, I've never told anybody this, so you guys will be told this first. So, what a lot of people don't know is that the tournaments have all been based on what the Persuadable team established. Everything. So, when the first tournament came in October, right, initially the devs wanted to do this really like weird point style where they wanted it where I would have to calculate all of the points of the overall score of each survivor. And they wanted it based on like how many points people were getting in the game, and I was like, absolutely not, because it doesn't replicate rank in competitive gameplay. That's how it was supposed to be. So the first tournament and the Call of Abyss tournament you're seeing now was based on the initial rules that we made in October, which the Persuadable team established. The original rules that the devs wanted to do is they wanted to make it so each survivor individual score would be added up in a team. And I'm like, yo, I'm not about to be doing math while I'm hosting a tournament. Like, we need to make this super easy, like however many survivors escape and whatever. And so they agreed to it, and we changed it. And so this is why I don't care about the score adjustments, because they're not pertinent to anything regarding tournament play. But I am glad that they're paying attention to the points and to see who gets the most amount of points. They're rewarding people for really being able to use their puppets correctly, being able to use the Euphorias correctly, to be able to use the Magician Illusion correctly. So they're going to be adding points, so your character will be getting more points. But initially, they wanted to make that part of tournament play, and the Persuadable team, we were like, no, we can't do it. We're not doing that. And I'm glad. And then what's interesting is that we were the ones, you can ask the devs this, we were the ones who talked about a ban system. That wasn't a thing before the October tournament. We were the ones who said that because hunters were significantly underpowered, this was before Ripper had his Foggy Blade buff and before Spider Queen had her buff. We knew that the hunters needed a little bit of an equal leverage, so that's why we came out with a ban system. The ban system was to equal it out, so hunters had a little bit more of an advantage because they were disadvantaged against top competitive gameplay. And that's well known. So we came out with the ban system idea for the US tournament. And we also came out with the idea of the hunters selecting the maps. And I think they might be changing that one. Because those rules were based on the notion that the hunters, other than Clown, there were no hunter bans. And then they adapted that in Call of Abyss, and because there were so many characters released, now you can ban 2 hunters and and whatnot. And that was something that we didn't have a specific say in. But I did say that as more characters are released, they absolutely need to add more bans. We see that in League of Legends. We see that in Mobile Legends. We see that the more characters that there are, the more characters you can ban. Right? For new games, we don't see that much of a ban system in terms of how many players because there's not that many characters. Right? So you can't have 2 hunters banned when you only have 3 good hunters or 2 good hunters. So that's a very interesting fact. I'm not really too concerned about the bonus points. I don't pay too much attention to them. They got some experience optimizations. They're going to be reducing frames per second. I know that the devs are working on the on computer optimization. They contacted me about that a while ago. So that's going to be interesting. A lot of these are just pretty much all glitches that they fix and repaired, which is a good thing. Is the update over yet? Let me see if the update's over yet. Oh, I'm logged in now. Yep. Okay, I am logged. Alright, so here's what's going to happen. I am going to, I think I'm going to start, let me see this. What is this? Alright, yeah, so I'm going to get going. I want to check out the Explorer gameplay. Well, I'm not going to get going on here. And I'm going to be live feeding this. Let's live feed this on Twitch. I'm going to start playing some of them. The update's over. So I'll be on Twitch as you guys are with me right now anyway. So we'll play Twitch. We'll do some live feeds. Maybe we can get some of you guys in on the action, play together. I really want to see how this Explorer changes.